Warning! The root's on fire! You're about to experience the most high-octane, pedal-to-the-metal controversial show of your life. Please buckle up and hold on tightly. This station is not responsible for injuries. This is Wayne Allyn Root, raw and unfiltered, with America's favorite conservative rock star. Direct from the entertainment capital of the world, Las Vegas. What time is it? It's time for war! Here's your host, 100% raw truth, 100% American made, the warrior, Wayne Allyn Root.
All right, Wayne Allyn Root. The root's on fire. So much going on, I can't keep up with it. Remember, we used to start the show at 06, 6 minutes after the hour, and then the music came on. It was really 07, and I had 7 minutes to get my act together. Now, I'm just always ready at the dot when the music starts, and there's no time to get my act together. I've spent the entire morning either writing a commentary or out running errands or out at meetings or out dealing with issues involving my businesses and downloading stories, and then boom, it's time to go. So I liked it better when we started at 06 past the hour. It gave me that 6 minute cushion to get ready. I'm exhausted. All right, I'm exhausted. The show hasn't started yet. The big news of the day is, of course, the Iran deal. We found out over the weekend there was an Iran deal, and people said, I've heard this before, so on my top 10 show, I actually included it at number, I think it was number 9. I had something on number 10 that had to do with the opening commentary. So it was my number 9 story, and I said, you know, this would obviously be number 1, not just on my top 10 show, but number 1 in America, number 1 in the world, and number 1 for the economy, if it's true. But we've heard this a million times before. Iran has agreed to a deal, and they haven't agreed to a deal. They go back on their word. They're liars. Their nose is like Pinocchio. You can't trust them. What did Reagan say? Trust but verify. But with these guys, I think it's don't trust and bomb them till they're dead. And so when Trump said there was a deal, I just couldn't believe there was a deal. So I said on the show, if there's a deal, it's the number 1 story in the world. If there's a deal, the stock market flies up on Monday, and gold flies up on Monday, and crypto flies up on Monday, and oil goes way down on Monday. And all of that happened this morning. If there's a real deal, well, there's a real deal just in. Moments ago, Trump, Vance, and Speaker of the Iranian Parliament have officially signed the peace memo. But, you know, again, it's not a peace deal. It's a memo. It's a memo of understanding. It's not a contract. But I knew it was different this weekend when, who was overseeing the negotiations? Pakistan. And the leaders of Pakistan said there is an agreement. All sides have agreed. And now Trump and Vance and the Speaker of Iranian Parliament have signed the peace memo, which means something. And the market flew today. Let's actually see. I didn't see the final numbers. Final numbers just finished up literally a few minutes ago. So it was a big day on Wall Street. So let's see. The Dow jumped 500 points. And gold jumped $101 an ounce. Wow. And crypto jumped $2,800 to 66,000, the highest it's been in probably a month. So it was a big day, and oil went way down to about $80 a barrel. And I remember telling everybody on this show months ago, probably in like April, maybe in late March, I said, you know, everyone is hysterical about the price of gas. It's a temporary blip. How do I know it's a temporary blip? Because oil futures on Wall Street at the time, in early April, oil futures were already for November now, the November futures, $66 a barrel. So I said, how could this war be real and last a long time if oil's already projected to be $66 a barrel in November? And if it's 80 today at the first hint of a deal, it's going to be 66 before you know it. And gas at the pump's going to be way down. So Trump and Vance and the Speaker of the Iranian Parliament have officially signed the peace memo. Trump shares details of the signed agreement with Iran, says the text of the memo to be released soon. Officials say the deal will be released in the next 24 to 48 hours. He discussed details of his memorandum of understanding with Iran during his meeting with French President Emmanuel Macron. He's there for the G7. The main thing is that Iran will not have a nuclear weapon, Trump said, claiming they fully agree. Trump and J.D. Vance have already signed the American side of the deal, and Iran Speaker of the Parliament has signed on the Iranian side. The official signing ceremony is set to take place on Friday in Switzerland. Trump himself confirmed the deal's all signed. The strait is already partially opened. I think a lot of great things are going to happen in the Middle East right now, noting the plummeting price of oil and the stock market shooting up like a rocket today. I hate to sound like Trump, but I predicted the market would fly, and it's a good thing when the market flies. I own stocks. I want it to fly. I own gold. I want it to fly. I own Bitcoin. I want it to fly. So these are all good things, but can you trust the Iranians? The answer is no, a definitive no, an absolute no. But he said probably soon, sometime after Friday, he expects the full text, the understanding, to be released. I want it to be released because it's a powerful document. It's not like the Obama document, which was just a terrible document. This is a powerful document, and I want it to be released. But some have criticized the president's peace efforts, including Fox News host Mark Levin, dubious about the deal. So some are against it, some are unhappy with it, some are questioning it. I never accept anything at face value. I always question, but I do trust Trump. I've said before, personally, I didn't understand what was going on. Trump kept stalling, bombing them, and I thought he should bomb them sooner. But I said, he knows more than I do. I defer to Trump, and I got to go with him. And a senior U.S. official rejects Iranian regime spin. There's no $12 billion in frozen funds for Tehran before the deal. He says this is a pay-for-performance deal. In other words, here are the 12 things you got to do, Iran. And if you do 11 of them, you get paid this much. If you do all 12, you get paid this much. And if you don't do any of them, you don't get paid. It's kind of like my life. All my shows, everything's paid for performance. And I'm a great performer, so I get paid. Trump trashes Obama on the world stage at the G7. He's in France, met with the French president, as I said, Emmanuel Macron, to discuss the Iran peace deal and a potential Ukraine-Russia peace deal. You want to see the market fly up, wait till you hear a second peace deal with Ukraine and Russia. He trashed Obama on the world stage over his 2015 Iran nuke deal. Obama gave Iran nearly $2 billion in cash in addition to billions spent and still failed to stop their nuclear program. Trump said $1.7 billion taken out of banks, given to Iran, and on top of that, tens of billions was spent. So they tried to bribe them to make a deal that didn't work, and it never worked. And we've done a great job, and hopefully it's going to be a good relationship, and we're going to get along. And if we don't, we'll go back to where we started. I don't know yet if it's going to be necessary. The Iran deal we made is going to bring a lot of success in the world because oil was really clogging up there for a while. And, of course, Obama over the weekend said terrible things about the deal and said, basically, it's the same deal that I cut, that I complained about 24 hours a day. And Trump and his people are saying, not true, completely not true. This is pay for play. Obama says, we give you all the money in the world. We hope you'll be nice boys. And Trump says, you'll get the money if you do the right thing. Big difference in those two. U.S. gas prices slipped below politically sensitive $4 level for the first time in months. So right off the bat, good news on the gas front. Good news in California. California Governor Gavin Newsom fumes as he announces he's under federal investigation. Good. Screw you. Destroy his life, scumbag. You know, this is how it works. I want to explain exactly how it works in politics today. First of all, Democrats go after Trump for something he did not do. It's a fake persecution, not prosecution. They persecute Trump. All the charges are fake, and they try and destroy him and put him in jail for life and cost him billions of dollars in losses and legal fees. And then when Trump becomes president, he goes after the people that really did commit crimes, and they complain and say, see, he's Hitler, see, he's a dictator, see, he's Stalin, see, he's a bad guy. And this is a political persecution. But see, Newsom steals elections in California, and Newsom and company and all his, communist comrades steal all the money that's given to California has been stolen, in my opinion. All of it's gone. It's been stolen. It's been handed out to stooges, handed out to Democrat donors, handed out to illegal aliens, handed out to Muslims. All the money's gone. So he's fuming that he's under investigation. He's acting like, see, it's a political witch hunt. Trump's was a witch hunt. Yours is a deserved investigation followed by, I hope, a deserved indictment, and you really should go to jail. You Democrats are such creeps. You should go to jail. So the Newsoms have been subpoenaed for records, according to the governor. Newsom said federal agents have contacted people and organizations close to him and his wife. Newsom's former chief of staff was indicted on federal wire fraud charges last year. According to Semaphore, there are several investigations related to Newsom, and they all are focused on Jennifer Newsom's taxes and his chief of staff. The investigation did not originate from the Maine Department of Justice in D.C., but are out of Sacramento and involve whistleblowers. So that's good. Good news, makes me feel good. I'd really love to see Soros put in jail, but I'd love to see Newsom put in jail, and Soros put in jail, and Obama put in jail, and Clapper and Brennan, and all of these creeps. FBI raids Soros-backed voter group's headquarters in a reported fraud probe. The Ohio Organizing Collaborative received over $10 million in revenue in 2024 from top Democrat-aligned donors. So we're looking into all this stuff now. We're looking under the hoods of all these criminal organizations, or I should say alleged criminal organizations, that were not involved in nonprofit, the biggest scam in the world. I know I must have some friends out there involved in nonprofits, but I'm telling you, for the most part, the word nonprofit is one big giant scam. You know what nonprofit means? It means you give me $1 million and there will be no profits at the end of the year because I will steal the whole million. That's what it means. I'll pay myself $1 million salary, or I'll give myself $500,000, and my wife $300,000, and my two best friends $100 each, and that's the million, and there'll be no profit at the end of the year. We don't make a profit. Of course we don't. You steal all the money. And this is how the Democrats live and survive. It's how they win elections. Federal investigators raided a Soros-funded voter mobilization group Thursday as part of reported ongoing fraud investigation. It was the headquarters of the Ohio Organizing Collaborative, and FBI agents deployed across the state of Ohio to question members of the organization, sometimes bearing subpoenas or demanding to seize electronic devices. A day later, multiple sources familiar with the events told CBS News the operations were part of a fraud-related investigation. This raid marks the latest flashpoint in the Trump administration's expanded use of federal law enforcement to scrutinize alleged voter fraud and election-related misconduct. A push cheered by conservatives like Wayne Root, it should say, who have long argued such cases were under-enforced, and it is condemned by Democrats and voting rights groups who say the effort risks turning the FBI into a political weapon against liberal voter registration operations. Yeah, okay. The OOC, this is the Ohio Organizing Collaborative, is a non-profit organization, of course it is, that works closely with the Democrat Party in voter mobilization and registration efforts. You know exactly what it is. It's a scam. Again, this is an opinion show. It's my opinion. It's just another Democrat scam. They're all thieves, and they're stealing the money, and they're stealing and rigging elections.
Or not.
Or I should say rigging and stealing elections in that order. You have to rig it to steal it. Let me find, there's another article out here if I could find it. Where is that article? Where is that article? I feel like I'm President Trump. Where is Wayne Root? Where is Wayne Root? Because there's an article about Spencer Pratt, and he's going after the Democrats, and I wanted to find it. It's right at the end, Pitar's telling me. So, I don't know where it is. I can't find it. No, it's not at the end. Not true. Not there. So, I don't know. It's in here somewhere, but I can tell you by memory. Spencer Pratt put out a video over the weekend. It's his concession speech. And it sounds like Wayne Root wrote it. It sounds like I would have delivered it. It's my concession speech. It's like, screw you, F you. Here's my finger in the air, my middle finger to you. And I'll tell you what, I'm putting you in prison. So don't be too happy, because whoever wins in November, I'm sending to prison. That's what he said in his concession speech. He said he has copies of phone calls to one of the two who are left, Karen Bass and that ramen lady. The only reason I remember her name is because she's like the noodles in Chinese food, ramen. She's a noodle, all right, a communist noodle, and so I remember that. So it's ramen and of course Karen Bass, the mayor of L.A., who burned the city down and went to Africa to party, and probably was in an orgy in Africa. That's probably why she went. She probably went to an orgy in Africa. Some African guy was being sworn in as president, and he's probably banging her. I'm sure that's what was going on. So, but again, I have no inside information, just an opinion show. Karen Bass is probably exactly like that black judge. You know that black judge they just arrested because she was banging the police chief in her courtroom, screaming in loud orgasms. They said she screamed so loud the entire courtroom was hearing it. These Democrats are sick people, man. It all ties in with New York City. Gonorrhea rates are soaring in New York City. And Mandami rushes to hand out free chocolate condoms to the citizens of the Big Apple. You know, if you've ever, the only word I could think of is yuck, yuck, ugh. I want to vomit. Gonorrhea rates soaring in New York City. Gonorrhea. How come I don't know anyone who's ever had gonorrhea? Because it's all the illegal aliens and all the Muslims and all the communists, and they're all doing disgusting things to each other. You know, how about normal sex? Nobody has normal sex in the Democrat Party. You know why? You know why Wayne Root has normal sex? Because I've only had sex in my life with gorgeous women, right? When you're doing it with ugly women, you do really wild things. So these people are getting gonorrhea because God knows what they're screwing, which hole they're putting it in. I have no idea. Disgusting. Gonorrhea. Who's ever had gonorrhea on our side? You know any Republicans who ever had gonorrhea? I sure haven't. Never heard of such a thing. The whole New York City's filled with gonorrhea. Ugh. Don't stay in New York City. I don't want to be in their hotel rooms. I don't want to be on their bed sheets. Disgusting. And that ties into the next story. Apollo, which is Apollo Global Management, which is like, just about $1 trillion firm, one of the biggest firms on Wall Street, snubs Mandami and picks Texas as the hotspot for their second U.S. headquarters. So they could have opened, and they were looking to open another headquarters in New York City, and instead they opened it in Austin, Texas. Don't play the music yet, because I'm gonna actually rant for a second, then I'm gonna do the sponsor of this segment. So we can do whatever we want nowadays. It's our podcast, so we don't have to go out on any set time. So Apollo is a company almost worth $1 trillion. I told you, $800 billion is under management. Crazy, I've never dealt with numbers like that, only because I've never worked for a big company in my whole life. I never worked for a big company. I work for myself, so I deal with millions, not billions. Or trillions, but I'm a small businessman. And Apollo, creates a lot of jobs and pays a lot of taxes. Last year, they paid $1 billion in taxes to the city of New York. So that billion is going to be gone now because they're going to be in Austin, Texas. How stupid is Mandami? How stupid is New York? How stupid is the Democrat Party? How stupid are the policies? How ignorant are the policies of the Democrat Party? So what I wanted to rant about is it's just a sign of everyone leaving. Everyone is leaving New York City and Los Angeles and Chicago. And who are the mayors of those towns? Minority, minority, minority. And what am I trying to say? DEI. Not one of them could manage a Dairy Queen with 3 employees. And they're running billion-dollar budgets in major cities. The 3 biggest cities in America, I guess, right? LA, New York, and Chicago. I think they're still the 3 biggest. Maybe Dallas is now bigger. Maybe Houston is now bigger. But they're top 5 gigantic cities being run by morons who got in because of DEI. The people in the city are all minority. They vote for a minority. Doesn't mean the minority is qualified. Matter of fact, they're almost always non-qualified, the people they elect, because they're communists, and communists aren't qualified to run anything. Has nothing to do with the color of their skin. They're just communists. But they got elected because of the color of their skin. New York, LA, and Chicago are all 3 a disastrous mess that look like Hiroshima after World War II in certain places in those cities. And the only difference between them and Hiroshima is Hiroshima eventually rebuilt and recovered. These cities are gone. They're finished. It's like a movie, Revenge of the Zombies. There's zombies walking around with sores on their arms because they've been injecting themselves with these horrible drugs, and they're rotting from the inside out. And these are the people that vote. And they do. You don't think I'm kidding? The drug addicts, the homeless, illegals who don't belong in America, they all vote. They're all allowed to vote in these cities. Democrat Party recruits them. Scary. All right. Sponsor of this segment is Freedom Fest. The World's Fair of Liberty coming up fast, right? In about less than a month. July 8th to 11th at Caesars Forum Convention Center in Las Vegas. You can come from anywhere in the country. The people fly in. There's about 3,000 attendees from all over the United States. They come from all 50 states. They come from many foreign countries. But if you're lucky enough to be listening to me right now or watching me right now and you live in Vegas, it's here. You don't have to get on a flight or get a hotel room. You save thousands and you save travel. Most popular event at Freedom Fest every year is the mock trial. And this year, ICE will be on trial. And I, Wayne Root, will be the ICE defense attorney. Star witnesses for the defense will be Superman actor Dean Cain and veteran Border Patrol agent J.J. Carroll, regular guest on this show, and Dean Kane's been on the show many times. The 12 jurors will be selected from the audience. It will take place on Friday, July 10th at 5 p.m. I can't wait to meet all of you there. This will be a special year for Freedom Fest, celebrating the 250th anniversary of Independence Day. The MC is Kennedy from Fox News. Many great speakers, including Steve Forbes, Glenn Beck, Adam Carolla, John Mackey, the founder of Whole Foods, and actor-comedian Rob Schneider. Get your tickets now for Freedom Fest. My fans only. Get $100 off registration. Go to freedomfest.com. Use the promo code WAR for $100 off. freedomfest.com. Promo code WAR. We'll be right back. All right, Wayne Allyn Root. I am joined by Gordon Bond. What an honor. Owner of Bond Arms, one of the great gun manufacturers, all made in the USA, all made in Texas. His website is getbondarms.com. Gordon, what makes Bond Arms different from any other gun manufacturer?
Well, when my brother started the company a long time ago, the regular Derringer, let me see if I can get it in the picture here, was basically known as a cheap, dangerous throwaway gun. This is a 1865 model. Derringers have been around forever. And what he did was take a dangerous gun and just made it very cool by better materials, trigger guard, interchangeable barrels, solid stainless steel. And Wayne, like you saw at the show, people love picking them up and just holding them. And it's just like, they pick it up and it's like, wow, this is like a real gun.
That's great. I saw it. My wife and I were at the show, and she's a gun aficionado even more than I am. And she said it was the best booth at the entire gun show out of thousands of booths was Gordon's booth, Bond Arms. To celebrate America's 250th anniversary, Bond Arms is releasing the American 250 edition handgun at a special price only for my fans. Tell us about it.
So one thing that we wanted to do, when I graduated in 1976, it was the bicentennial, and that's all they talked about all year long. And so when this 250th anniversary was coming up, we really wanted to do something special on this. And what you're seeing on the screen right now is the stainless steel version. It's 45 long Colt and 410 shotgun shell, very well built. I mean, our guns are built like a tank. People love the quality. They call it a hand cannon. Best snake gun you've ever had. Oh yeah, there's a beautiful side with the flag and the Liberty. And people just love the way that we do things. I mean, they'll come to our booth every year and just go, wow, what are y'all doing this year? You know, what crazy thing are you doing this year? So the American 250, we're really going to focus on that. We want to give everybody the opportunity to own a piece of history.
Gun. What a beautiful gun. What a gorgeous gun. The engravings. Wow. And I love that name, hand cannon. I want a hand cannon. Mine got delivered today. I'll have them for next week's show. My own personal hand cannon from Bond Arms. How do you get it? Go to getbondarms.com. See the number on the screen, getbondarms.com, or call 817-573-4445. See the disclaimer on the bottom of the screen for certain restrictions. Getbondarms.com. Gordon, thank you.
Thank you, Wayne.
All right, Wayne Allyn Root, we got a guest. He's in his car, so I hope this is going to be a good connection. I hope it won't be a bad connection, because sometimes in the car it's good and sometimes it's not. But, you take your guess when you can get them, especially when they're running for governor of Colorado. Scott Bottoms, the Republican candidate for governor of Colorado, currently a Colorado state representative from Colorado Springs. His website, scottbottoms.com, scottbottoms.com. Scott, welcome to the show. How are you?
Yes, sir. Thank you for having me. I'm great.
Oh, so far the connection's great, so I think we're good. So first, let's start with your campaign before I get to anything else. So you are the candidate? You are the candidate, or you're in a primary? Are you the candidate representing the Republican Party in November?
I'm in a primary, and our primary is ending June 30th. We already have the ballots have already been mailed out because we're that kind of state. But I'm still the candidate. You are saying that correctly, but I do have a primary.
All right. And you have anybody major against you, or all kind of little gadflies, I should say?
I'll be nice. There's two other people.
Okay, all right. That's all you'll say about him. Two other people. You have committed. You have committed that if you are elected governor, you're going to take care of Tina Peters. Her sentence was just commuted by the governor, Jared Polis. Why do you think the governor did that, and what will you do for Tina if you get elected governor?
Well, and I'm the only candidate saying this, but not only will I make sure that she gets a full, complete pardon, but she did not break the law. She did not do anything wrong. She was put in prison as a political maneuver. An activist hack judge in Mesa County, Colorado, west side of Colorado, did this, put her in jail. And two other Democrat judges have admitted the fact that this was a hack job on her. And not only will I pardon her sentence, but I will also use state resources to make sure that she gets to sue the state, sue the people involved, sue the Secretary of State, the Attorney General, because Secretary of State was actually one of the biggest players in this, and that woman needs to go to jail. And
Yes.
so, yeah, we're gonna give her full restitution and a very loud bully pulpit to make sure everybody knows exactly what happened here.
But what are the odds that you can actually win, Scott? I mean, Colorado used to be a very Republican state. It was filled with a lot of nice Christians in the Colorado State area, or Colorado, Colorado Springs area. And it was a very Republican state. And all of a sudden, it's not purple, it's deep, deep blue. Trump loses elections in that state by 65-35. It's a landslide. First of all, what happened to Colorado?
Well, the first thing that happened in Colorado is you have a lot of brokenness, you have a lot of corruption, you have election corruption. But here's one of the biggest ones. I've been a pastor since I was 20 years old, and I pastor a church in Colorado Springs right now while I'm a state representative. And the church votes at about 45% in the state of Colorado.
Wow,
and here's another one. Gun owners only voted about 55% in the state of Colorado. Colorado is not a blue state. It's just a bunch of red people sitting home. And we're seeing the groundswell of that really changing right now. They're done with this. They're fed up with this. And the biggest group that's joining them, believe it or not, is Democrats. The Democrats are even fed up. And unaffiliated independents are completely fed up. This is the year we can do it. All of the numbers are showing us this, and showing that I'm going to be the next governor of Colorado.
Well, I want you to do it. Believe me, I'm rooting for you, but I feel like Colorado as a state is just like Minnesota, and it's just like California, it's just like LA. Once they get full control of the mechanism, a la communists throughout history, and these people are not Democrats, they are really communists, extreme radical left, communists and socialists and Marxists, they fix the system. It's rigged. I don't really believe the voting is 65-35 against Trump each campaign. I believe it's rigged. I believe it's very close. It might be 50-50. We might be winning 51-49. They've rigged it. So how do you unrig the process once they're in control and no one's allowed to see the books?
Well, this is one of the interesting things that is contributing to this year too. Not only that everybody in the state is Democrats, everybody is getting fed up and they're pulling away from Democrat leadership, all that kind of thing. We also are seeing investigations that are going on. There are 4 investigations going on our Secretary of State. As I said, she's a crook. She needs to be in jail. She's been rigging a lot of systems. She's been breaking the law by bringing clerks under her authority, all kinds of things. But there are actually 4 DOJ investigations that are going on around her. She released over 600 passwords for the voting machines. Last election cycle, she sent 30,000 ballots out to illegal immigrants and said, oops, I didn't mean to do that. So there's a lot of investigations going on around her. And then there's also a really serious investigation looking into her and Attorney General Weiser in our state for sedition. If you remember, our Secretary of State is the one who kept Trump off of the ballot in the last, or tried to keep Trump off the ballot in the last election cycle. And our Supreme Court went along with her, and the Supreme Court of the United States slapped them down 9-0. You talk about corruption within the systems. That was a huge illustration of how big our corruption is.
Well, you talked about an interesting word just now. You said that she illegally released the passkeys, like 300 of them or something. Well, isn't that
600.
exactly what they put Tina Peters in jail for, or something similar to what they put Tina Peters in jail for sharing the passkey with someone? But she's allowed to do it 400 times, and Tina Peters did it once, and she wound up in prison for supposedly 9 years. If it was not commuted, she'd be rotting in jail for another 7, 8 years. Isn't that kind of similar to what she did?
Yeah, but it's worse. We have these things called smart hearings. So I'm a state representative. At the beginning of every cycle, we bring in all the state agencies, all of the state directors, everything, and they have to submit a hearing to a hearing for us to ask them questions, see where their finances are going, all this stuff. Well, for years in Colorado, it's just been Democrat high fives and all that kind of stuff. And me and a few other representatives got in 4 years ago, and we started turning over the apple cart. And I confronted Secretary of State Griswold on that. I said, from what I see, you put Tina Peters in jail for using half of one BIOS password that she had legal access to. And so she really didn't break the law. And I said, but you as Secretary of State, you made sure that over 600 full passwords were put into a spreadsheet and allowed to be accessed by anybody in the state that wanted to. I said, according to my numbers, that means you need to be in jail for at least 5,400 years. And the Democrats gavelled me down, ran over. 3 of them came over and started screaming in my face. And then Secretary of State Griswold, literally, and this is all on video, literally got up and ran out of our hearing room because she did not want to be confronted with any kind of truth.
You know, you say you're a pastor, and I'm a Jew to Christ as my Savior 34 years ago. So I'm I guess you call me an evangelical Jew or a Messianic Jew, but I believe in Jesus Christ very strongly. When I watch the Democrat Party, Scott, I see people that look like demons. It's not like we have like a nice, genuinely disagreement on things. This is sick stuff. They're a bunch of demons. I think they're possessed by Satan, I swear to you. And it's not like I'm nuts or something, because number one, they all follow Saul Alinsky, and the book is dedicated to the devil, right? It's dedicated to Lucifer. And number two, here in Vegas, which, by the way, we have more churches per square mile, I think, than any city in the United States, Vegas. So Vegas is not really what you think it is. But the Vegas, county commission is dominated 6 of 7 or 7 of 8 seats are Democrats. And they invited a representative of the Satan Church, the Satanic Temple, to give the opening prayer 2 weeks ago to their county commission meeting. They do an opening prayer, and it was the guy who loves Satan, and he came with fake horns on his head, dressed like the devil. This is insanity. These people are like in love with Satan. So it isn't like I'm making it up. It's all out there for you to see now.
Yeah, if I had a few hours to explain all this to you, all of the things going on in our state, we're the most pedophile-friendly state, we're the most human trafficking-friendly state. We have many registered socialists sitting on.
Bless you. I think you're sneezing,
I am
right?
so sorry.
You. God bless you.
Sitting on the House of Representatives. You would be surprised at the stories I could tell you of legislation that has been passed, legislation that has gone through that are protecting pedophiles, protecting these people. We truly are an evil state. And I can point out people to you that are sitting in elected offices around our state and all the way up into the governor's office, that these people are evil. They are purely evil. And they are actively doing the work of Satan. This is horrible. But here's part of the reason that I'm running for this governor's office is our tagline is Reclaim Colorado. Well, we're going to reclaim a lot of things, including the moral foundation that God created humanity through. And so we're going to make sure that we root out all of this stuff, all of the high places, everything in the state of Colorado. Because this is disgusting what happens, and the amount of corruption, the amount of fraud, waste, abuse, everything that's happening. Our state is so completely broken, but that's okay because I'm not scared, and I like to get into the fray and fight the fight.
I'm a true conservative. I mean, I was handing out literature for Barry Goldwater when I was 3 years old in my father's hands, and I was a big Reagan fan, and so I'm a real conservative. But I have some libertarian leanings. I'm not a libertarian by any means, because some of them are nuts, but I have libertarian leanings. So one of my big things, one of my big things that are confusing me, I always felt like we should legalize pot because, first of all, we're wasting our time. People want to smoke pot. There's not enough cops to stop them. If they want to do it, let them do it. Let them ruin their lives. I never worried about it too much. And then I saw the result of what happened in Denver. And all my friends who live in Colorado tell me Denver, once you legalize pot, became this disgusting, filthy town. And everyone's, got no ambition. And they lie around all day smoking pot. They don't have jobs. And they all vote Democrat. And they came from all over the country to live in Denver so they could smoke their pot. So, I'm back to thinking we should never legalize pot because it's just bad for society. I'm sure that had a lot to do with the ruination of Colorado was the legalization of pot, especially in the Denver area. Yeah.
Yeah, it most definitely did. We had, of course, I was fighting against that. I didn't like the idea. You just slide into nothingness as a culture when you allow that. And then we made it legal for somebody to carry around enough fentanyl to kill 700 people.
What?
And that was okay. And
That's
then
legal?
here's the big one: is I think it was one of our big newspapers, Denver Post, or one of them. I could be wrong about that. But they did an article explaining how, and they were so caught off guard that marijuana abuse with underage teenagers was up like 65% or something like that. And they're like, how did this happen?
No shocker.
You guys are such idiots. How do you think it happened?
Right.
You did it. And, but that's, taking responsibility. We don't like to do that in Colorado.
Yeah, I have friends who are very conservative, very Republican, very MAGA, and yet they've got cancer. And if they need medicinal marijuana, I have no problem at all with that. But all the recent studies show that marijuana is very dangerous for young people's brains. And it's ruining their ambition and taking it away from them. And they just spend their lives being bums. And you see it and you smell it in Las Vegas. The whole strip stinks of pot. I mean, the whole thing was a good idea in the beginning. Yeah. In the beginning, I kind of was like, all right, give them freedom. Now that I've seen it, it disgusts me. Pot is disgusting. Anyway, last but not least, let's talk about Democrat leadership, because in Colorado, you've endured rising crime and failing schools, reckless spending. What else is new? Everyone is run by Democrats. Same thing happens. So what's your solutions? If you become governor, what are you going to do?
I tell you, one of the first things we're going to do is we're going to go back to the Constitution. I'm going to sign an executive order that says anything that is not constitutional will be rejected. I'm going to be the vetoingest governor in the history of Colorado. Anything not constitutional, so that means going against Tabor, which people outside of Colorado don't know what that is, but it's the only thing that's kept us from being California. We're more liberal than California in every other way, but parental authority, Second Amendment, all those things. We've passed so many unconstitutional bills, and I come down to the well in the Capitol, and I will debate and say I'll read the Constitution. I say this is not constitutional, and they come down and admit it. They'll say, well, we're going to run the bills. You sue us. So the first thing, we're going to be constitutional state. I'm going to go after the DEI, CRT, SEL, grooming language stuff like crazy. That's going to be by executive order. No state agency or state employee will do that. We're going to also, right now in the state of Colorado, ICE is not allowed to interact with local police officers. We have many, but at least 5 deputy sheriffs in the state of Colorado that have been disciplined by our attorney general because all they did was call ICE and say this person is an undocumented worker. So we're gonna start working on every level. We got the Venezuelan cartel set up in Aurora. I'm gonna go after them with the National Guard and tear them apart. We've got a big mountain to climb, but man, I've already got my executive orders in line. We've already got our plan, and I love climbing mountains, and so put it before me. We got this.
I hope you come down from the mountains like Moses with the tablets.
I'm willing. If God will let me, I'll do it.
There we go. I like it. All right. Look, everything you've said is fantastic. I just hope there's a chance to win, because if you don't win, then I would say Colorado's lost. Then it's over. If you could win this time,
I agree.
maybe you could reverse things. But if you lose this time, it's just going to be too established. It's going to be over, just like California's over. Spencer Pratt thought he'd change it. But once you allow them to rig it, he was definitely robbed. And I hope they don't rob you, because they're all thieves. They're all thieves. They steal the taxpayer money, and they steal and rig elections. That's what they do. Scott Bottoms, you appear to be a very good candidate to me. I like you. Republican candidate for governor of Colorado, Colorado State representative, and a pastor. A lot of good things. ScottBottoms.com. ScottBottoms.com. Scott, we wish you a lot of luck. Come back after you're governor.
Thank you, sir. Thank you
Thanks,
for
Scott.
having me on. As soon as I'm governor, I'll have you to lunch.
Ring us up, and I'll come in and see you. We'll have fun. We'll have a good time together.
All right.
Man. Be good. We'll be right back. Last segment of the show coming up next. I'm Wayne Allyn Root. This is Warzone Live. RootForAmerica.com is the website. You can email me anytime, WayneRoot@gmail.com. WayneRoot@gmail.com. If you don't know where to find all my TV shows, all my podcasts, all my radio shows, just go to RootForAmerica.com. It's all there. My command central. It's easy. It's simple. My command central is RootForAmerica.com. We'll be right back. Wayne Allyn Root here with John Jubilee, owner and founder of the Energized Health program. When I joined Energized Health 6 years ago, it changed my life. Since then, John has been a regular guest on all my shows, sharing their breakthrough science of intracellular hydration. John, your program changed my life, and more importantly for me, expanded my career, and it became really just, it reversed aged me. It became my fountain of youth. And many people are now using your program along with the GLP-1s, the weight loss drugs, Ozempic, Mounjaro, and all of them. Explain how Energized Health is working alongside these weight loss drugs, a perfect synergy.
Well, how we do that, Wayne, is weight loss is one thing, but with every weight loss drug that there is, all the families of weight loss drugs, they also come with the weight loss of our healthy lean muscle and our healthy hydration, which is the weight we don't want to lose, right? We don't want to lose that and get sarcopenia or osteoporosis. So at Energized Health, we guarantee you will gain your hydration and you will gain your lean, healthy muscle mass while you're losing your visceral and subcutaneous fat. That's why it's kind of the match made in heaven, Wayne, that they don't get the two negatives that come with the GLP-1s.
Perfect synergy. Energized Health's protocol targets the root cause of many ailments and diseases and helps people get off their medications and lose their fat fast. Explain.
Yeah, well, all of medical science is trained to go after the symptom. So here's a symptom, here's a drug. Here's a symptom, here's a drug. At Energized Health, we don't look at the symptom. We look at the root cause. The root cause of 99.9% every illness and disease, one thing, is inflammation. And just like when you walk into a room and turn a light on, darkness cannot exist. When you put intracellular hydration in a human body, inflammation cannot exist. And so that's why we reversed thousands of illnesses and diseases with our breakthrough patent pending science of intracellular hydration.
All right. It's a great program. It's an amazing program. It changed my life. I'm Exhibit A. Thank you, John. I've got a new TV show thanks to you. I'm being 65 years old. I'm turning 65 years old this July, and I got a new TV show unheard of in the annals of TV history. You get 40% off and go on the same journey as me when you go to EnergizedHealth.com and just say WAR when you speak to them for Wayne Allyn Root. 40% off, and you go on the same journey. I hope it anti-ages you. I hope it's your fountain of youth. God bless all of you. EnergizedHealth.com, promo code WAR. In a blue state like California, the corruption is so deep, so overwhelming, so many, I think at this point, trillions have been stolen, not billions. It has to add up over 10 years to trillions of dollars of American taxpayer money on that train to nowhere and on all of the daycare centers and all of those. They're all ripping you off. The money that was stolen during COVID, was like literally billions of dollars. And it's just, they cannot let a Republican win mayor of LA or governor of California, because then that person will conduct an investigation and find out who committed all the crimes. So all the people who committed the crimes will go to jail. All right, Wayne Allyn from Las Vegas, Warzone Live, the official podcast of the Gateway Pundit, which is, by the way, the fifth ranked conservative news site in the United States of America, which probably makes it fifth in the world, behind only Fox News, New York Post, Breitbart, and Wall Street Journal. That's it. Gateway Pundit number 5. And we are the official podcast, and very proud of that. Over 1 billion page views each year at the Gateway Pundit, and 2.5 million daily readers. And we're proud to be the official podcast every day at 4 o'clock Eastern, 1 o'clock Pacific. You can also find us at Rumble. You can also find us at Talk Red. Is it Talk Red, Patar? I think it's Talk Red, or is it Red Talk? Red Talk or Talk Red? I thought it's Talk Red. TalkRed.com. Talk Red. You're giving me backwards, Patar. What's going on? Tangible Investments is the sponsor of this segment of the show. How important is it to own gold? Well, first of all, Wayne Root will tell you it's the most important thing in my life. You're supposed to own like 5 or 10% gold. Most people own 0. I got to admit, I own about 40% gold. My life savings is almost all in gold. It's my single biggest investment. That's how much I believe in gold. So China's central bank agrees with me. They're buying lots of gold. They increased their gold reserves for the 18th consecutive month. China's prepared for what's coming. Are you? See, you got to be a moron to keep your money in cash. It goes down every day when you keep your money in cash. You could say I have 50,000, and 10 years later you go, see, I still have 50,000. What do you mean, Wayne? But 10 years later, the 50,000 buys half of the car it bought 10 years ago. So you don't really have 50,000. You have 25,000. Even though you can count out 50, it's still all there. It's not. Inflation has eaten it all up. It's not there anymore. Your buying power is down to half or 0. So, like if you had, I think it was, if the number was, if you put $1 million into gold at the turn of the century, at the 1900s, if you put $1 million into gold, today, it would be worth, I think, $100 million. And if you put $1 million into cash, today it would be worth like $25,000. The buying power would be $25,000 versus the million you had in the early 1900s. So really, those are incredible numbers. So China knows what they're doing. They know what's coming. Are you prepared for what's coming? But even if you buy gold, buying gold itself is not enough. You need to buy gold at the right price. And this is where buyers get misled. Other gold companies say we only charge 1% over cost, but that's very misleading because whose cost are they talking about? The real question you need to ask is, what are you charging me above spot price? And then compare that answer to the sponsor of my show, Tangible Investments. I've known the guys at Tangible for decades. Tangible's been in business for more than 40 years, have handled more than $2 billion in transactions. Their team brings over 200 combined years of experience. Right now, Tangible Investments is offering gold bullion at just 1% over spot. That's unheard of. And they offer silver as low as 3% over spot. Unheard of. If you want gold, silver, precious metals, or rare coins from a real firm with real credibility and honest pricing at a time in history where China is buying up all the gold in the world for a reason. And if you think China's smart, and I do, follow China, right? Call Tangible Investments right now. Toll free 888-330-4351, 888-330-4351. Or if you can't remember that, go to rootforgold.com. That's the website they got just for my fans, rootforgold.com. My guest, we have another guest, rare to have two in the same show, Connor Fitzpatrick. They're available, we grab them. Connor Fitzpatrick is Chief Supervising Attorney for the Foundation for Individual Rights and Expression, otherwise known as FIRE. Foundation for Individual Rights and Expression. Get it, FIRE. The website, fire.org. Fire.org. Connor, welcome to the show. Let's start with that.
Thanks for having me.
All right. So first of all, tell us about your organization. What is FIRE? What do you do?
So FIRE is a nonprofit, nonpartisan organization dedicated to defending freedom of speech and the First Amendment around the United States. We do not care if you are a Republican, Democrat, Libertarian, Green, or anything in between. Our unofficial slogan is that if it's protected, we will defend it.
All right, so in Las Vegas, and that's where this show emanates from. I live in Las Vegas, my adopted hometown for 24 years. In Las Vegas, a lawsuit was filed by a father after his son was expelled from school for expressing pro-ICE views. That is stunning to me. He placed 6 pro-ICE emblems on the walls of a hallway, and the assistant principal at the East Career and Technical Academy said the emblems were racist and they expelled him from school. Tell us this story, because to me, this is shocking, and I'd like my fans in Las Vegas, of which I have more than any other radio host in Vegas, times 10. I'd love you to give me like a number or an email we could call and just destroy this school. Just bombard their phones with calls and tell them that they've ruined their school and no one's going to go there anymore. So tell us the story and tell us there's some way we can make a difference and contact them or contact the mayor. What can we do?
Sure. So what we have here is a lawsuit filed on behalf of a student who alleges that he was expelled based on pro-ICE expression. So this all appears to have happened earlier this year when there were protests and counter-protests popping up around the country, particularly at schools, about ICE and about the role it was playing in cities like Minneapolis. So a few weeks before this student engaged in his expression, it looks like there was a walkout or other sort of anti-ICE speech, and the school, it appears, did not punish any of the students for being involved in that. But then when this student put up pro-ICE stickers on the wall, the school punished him, not from what it looks like in the lawsuit for putting things on the wall when he shouldn't have been, but because of the viewpoint that he was expressing in the emblems and the stickers that he was putting on the wall. And that's where the First Amendment steps in. The First Amendment requires the government to be neutral. The government isn't allowed to play favorites. It isn't allowed to say, if you agree with me, you are allowed to engage in speech, and if you don't, you're not. So that's why the Constitution and that's why the First Amendment comes to play here, because the First Amendment held the Supreme Court held more than 50 years ago that students are entitled to engage in non-disruptive political expression at school. And schools cannot step in, schools cannot censor students just because the principal and the teachers may not like what the student has to say.
And ironically, here's what I would say, Connor, ironically, when students walk out to express their views, that should be punishable. That's different than simply expressing your views. That's, interrupting the school day. That's killing hours of education. That's wasting the public's money, the taxpayers' money. So I think that's one that should be punished. No one should be allowed to walk out. And I guarantee you they're not walking out on their own. They didn't organize the protest. I'm sure the teachers helped them organize the protest. So that should be punishable. But just simply having a pro-ICE view should never be punishable.
That's exactly right. And the reason we know that, and where most of our First Amendment law comes from in the school context more than 55 years ago, is a case involving the Vietnam War, where there were students in Iowa who wanted to wear black armbands protesting the war to school. They weren't disrupting anything. They just wanted to wear these black armbands to school. And the Supreme Court was very clear. It said that schools cannot prohibit students from peacefully expressing themselves just because the administrators don't like what they have to say. Now, of course, if you're disturbing class, if you're disturbing other people's lessons, that's very, very different. But what the First Amendment never permits is teachers stepping in and saying, well, even though your classmates express themselves, I'm going to let them because I agreed with them, but you can't because I don't like what you have to say.
It's a really weird situation, and I think I'd have a hard time going to school nowadays. When I was a kid, which was a long time ago, 40 years ago, I was going to college, and I went to Columbia University, the most liberal college in America, up there with Berkeley and Harvard. And all the other kids were big liberals, and they were all for Jimmy Carter, and I was a Reagan guy, and I expressed my beliefs in Reagan and my love of Reagan and my support of Reagan. And the teachers thought I was kind of cute and odd, and they still gave me A's. It wasn't a problem. Today, I think if you go to college, forget about high school too, but if you go to college, especially elite colleges, Ivy League colleges, if you express that you're a Trumper and you're a MAGA and you want closed borders and secure borders, and if, God forbid, you say you want mass deportation, I believe every one of these commie teachers would give you an F and ruin your college career and ruin your ability to go to law school or medical school afterwards. You can't stick your head above the foxhole anymore because the teachers are all literally far left communists, literally communist Marxist, and conservatives aren't wanted in their classrooms.
I think what we're seeing in not only in higher education, but in the K through 12 space as well, is government officials, and frankly, these days it doesn't matter which party, not being able to stop themselves from trying to put a thumb on the scales in terms of trying to force people to think and agree with them. We see some states trying to tell college professors what they aren't allowed to teach, and we see other states trying to tell teachers what they are required to teach, what doctrines they are required to profess. And the First Amendment stops in to prevent all of that. This isn't Russia. This isn't China. We don't have government state, we don't have state-operated universities parroting the government's tune. What we have is First Amendment freedom of speech and freedom of conscience and freedom of association, where everyone can decide for themselves what views they want to adopt. And bringing it right back to home, I'm a product of the Clark County School District. I grew up in Henderson, and I'm very proud that at my high school, I had Republican friends, I had Democratic friends, and we all talked to each other. We learned about each other's point of views. It helped our education. And that's where I think this is really doing a disservice to the students. Because
hey, Connor,
it's teaching...
Connor, those days are gone, buddy. Those days are gone. I don't think
well
Republican
be,
students and Democrats are hanging out with each other anymore. It just doesn't work. It's pretty bad. I don't know any man who's a conservative dates a liberal woman. It just doesn't work, man. Those days are just gone. Trump and Obama ended. Everyone claims Trump divided the nation. No, I think Obama divided the nation, and then Trump came along, and it became triple. Everyone's hatred and everyone's craziness. But Obama was the first one to really badly divide the nation according to your beliefs and your race and everything else. But it's really gone off the rails now with Trump derangement syndrome. You're currently asking the Supreme Court to hear a case about two kids' rights to wear Let's Go Brandon shirts at school. Tell us more about that case.
That's right. Right now, we have a case that's pending at the Supreme Court. We're asking the Supreme Court to hear the case, where we are representing two students in West Michigan who were prevented by their middle school and now their high school from wearing Let's Go Brandon political sweatshirts to school. They were non-disruptive. They did not disrupt any lessons or any activities throughout the school day. But the school censored the sweatshirts and prevented them from wearing them anyway on the idea that Let's Go Brandon is equivalent to sort of the more profane chant that it comes from. And in our view, that's silly. There is a reason why words like heck and shoot are considered acceptable in polite conversation, while their sort of corollaries are not. It's silly to think that, for example, heck means the same thing as hell. It doesn't. And going back to our earlier discussion, the Supreme Court has held that you have a right to peaceful political expression at school, and that's what that case aims to cement.
Well, that's what America's about. Look, I happen to be Jewish by birth, and I remember in the 1970s, I think it was 77 if my memory is correct, but the KKK or the Nazis marched in Skokie, Illinois. They're kind of the same to me, so I don't know if they're Nazis or KKK, but they were marching in Skokie, a very Jewish suburb of Chicago, and we let them march. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, it was my good friend Allyn, one of the great lawyers in the world, who is Jewish, who defended their right to speak. He may hate what they're saying. He may think it's disgusting, but they have a right to say it. In America, we allowed them to march in Skokie, and now we've come all this circle later, 40, 50 years later, and everyone's feelings are hurt, and everyone's sensibilities are hurt. Everyone's a snowflake, and whatever you say, it's no good anymore. And you guys are trying to say, no, everything's okay. You may hate what they're saying, but they have a right to say it. Have I got it right?
That's exactly right. There's the old line, I disagree with what you say, but I will defend to the death your right to say it. That's what our First Amendment is all about, and that's what America is all about.
Exactly. I mean, I think a lot of people got embarrassed last night during the UFC fight. The guy won the fight, and he said, and by the way, he took the microphone after he won the fight. He said, by the way, Michelle Obama's a man. And a lot of people were like, oh my God, what a disgusting thing to say. And it may be a disgusting thing to say, but you have a right to say it. It's America. If he wants to say it, he can say it. If he loses sponsors from it, that's okay too. If some people like him because he said it, that's okay too. You're allowed to say it in the United States of America, even if it offends people. Stop being a snowflake. That's all I can say. We appreciate what you're doing, Connor Fitzpatrick. We appreciate FIRE, the Foundation for Individual Rights and Expression, fire.org, fire.org. Thanks for what you do, and I want everyone to have the right to say what they want to say, even if it offends, because you know what? I'm the most offensive talk show host in America. I say whatever the hell I want. So I appreciate it. Thank you, Scott. Thank you, Connor.
Thank you.
All right. Connor Fitzpatrick from fire.org. Fire.org. Earlier in the show, we had Scott Bottoms, Republican candidate for the governor of Colorado. Sounded fantastic, but I'm very skeptical any Republican can ever win in a deep blue state anymore. It's just become impossible because they're all rigged. I'm telling you, completely rigged. They steal every election. I'm Wayne Allyn. Let me mention on the way out, the sponsor of the show is Lost Soldier Oil and Gas. The golden age of Trump prosperity, all about making America the energy capital of the world. Enter Lost Soldier Oil and Gas, headed by oil and gas legend Mark Bruner, whose companies have created more than $15 billion in shareholder value. At its peak, his company, Pedico Energy, grew about 100 to 1, and Ultra Petroleum soared 1,000 to 1. A $10,000 investment turned into $13 million over 10 years. But Lost Soldier could be much bigger than Ultra Petroleum. Did you hear me? Much bigger than Ultra Petroleum that soared from 10,000 to 13 million. It could be the largest gas discovery in the United States in the past 100 years, says Mark Bruner, and he says, I can defend that statement 100%. It's a 40,000 acre territory in Wyoming that took 40 years to piece together. The first 4,000 feet drilled so far, estimated to contain up to 6 trillion cubic feet of gas. The surge in AI data centers is what's placing this soaring demand on energy resources, and this is how we power the AI future of America with inexpensive, clean, natural gas. Go get them, Lost Soldier. To learn more about Lost Soldier Oil and Gas, to learn more about the investment, to participate, go to lostsoldier.com, fill out the contact form. They'll get right back to you. That's lostsoldier.com. I believe in it so much. I invested twice last year, and I intend to do it a third time this year. I think this is, for me, the big home run for my retirement. Lost Soldier Oil and Gas at lostsoldier.com. Lostsoldier.com. That's it for tonight's show. See you tomorrow, same time, same place. Warzone Live. RootForAmerica.com. WayneRoot@gmail.com. God bless you. God bless Trump. God bless America. See you tomorrow. Hi, this is Wayne Allyn. If you're sick and tired of supporting woke companies, I have great news for you. You don't have to anymore. You can shop where my family shops at GreatPatriotStore.com. My team researched thousands of companies for my best-selling book, The Great Patriot Boycott Book, and one stood out above all, GreatPatriotStore.com. This is the answer to inflation. Hundreds of household products that you're already buying. Much higher quality, no toxic chemicals, delivered right to your door at incredible prices. 20,000 American families are joining every month, and you should too. And now they've got the beef. Pasture raised with no hormones, antibiotics, or mRNA ever. Exclusively available only to their members. Like Costco or Sam's Club, you need to become a member. Go to GreatPatriotStore.com. Fill out the form and they'll contact you right away. And boom, you're a member. For a limited time, the annual membership is $1. Go to GreatPatriotStore.com. That's GreatPatriotStore.com. John Jubilee's with us. He is the owner and founder of Energized Health, the website energizedhealth.com. Put John up on the screen. Let me say hi to him. There he is. Hey, Johnny, what's going on? Good to see you. Look, all anyone ever talks about now is Ozempic, Mounjaro, and other GLP-1s that are very popular. However, they don't seem to understand the drastic side effects from those drugs. People lose water, they lose muscle, they don't lose fat, but they lose weight because muscle is heavier than fat. In my case, I did your program, Energized Health, and I lost fat, not muscle. I gained muscle, so I didn't lose any weight. I look totally different and totally better than 15 years ago and 5 years ago, and yet I actually weigh the exact same amount. I might be down a pound, I might be up a pound. I didn't lose any weight, but I lost 25 pounds of fat and gained 10 pounds of muscle. That's the Energized Health result. And so let's talk about it a bit. Energized Health versus Ozempic, Mounjaro, and all the other GLP-1s. Tell us your verdict.
Yeah, well, Wayne, I'll tell you one of the amazing things is that, really what you said is the most important thing, that anybody that is on one or is considering of going on one of the GLP-1s, listen to what Wayne said. Wayne gained hydration, he gained lean muscle, and he only lost fat. So how could his weight not change when his head looks half the size I mean, his even his face. Look how stealth and cut Wayne's face is, guys, compared to that before picture. So how is that possible? It's because he gained hydration, he gained lean muscle. He only lost visceral and subcutaneous fat, which is the exact opposite of a GLP-1. On a GLP-1, they guarantee you, look at what they say. I'm not saying this, Wayne's not saying it, guys. The doctor that gives you that GLP-1 has to tell you the side effects, and they'll tell you you're going to lose your hydration, you're going to lose your lean muscle, you are going to lose some fat. You will lose some fat. 40% of your weight loss, maybe even up to 60, but the max you can lose is 60% of your weight loss is going to be fat, guys. 40 to 60% of your weight loss is lean muscle and healthy hydration. So they tell you that's what's going to happen. So we just want to encourage people, listen, we're not saying don't do it. If you made a decision to do a GLP-1, well, do it, but do it with this so that you can keep your lean muscle, you can keep your healthy hydration. And look, if you haven't done it yet, then we would say, why don't you try this first? Because that does not come with the money back guarantee. Once you spend thousands of dollars on a GLP-1, which you will over the 1 year.
It's gone. It's gone. It's gone. You're never getting it back.
No, your money is gone. And
right.
You're not going to get that money back. Whereas, hey, we let people know, listen, we're 100% money back guaranteeing. You're going to gain hydration, you're going to gain muscle, you're going to lose your fat, and you're going to get healthy. And I do have to tell people, Wayne, in full disclosure, look, you guys are already seeing it online. All you have to do is go Google, or just pick up your cell phone and say, Siri, what are the negative side effects of a GLP-1? In fact, you know what, Wayne, I wonder if we could do it right on air here.
You want me to do it? Negative side effects.
Side effects of a GLP-1.
I'll just put negative side effects of Ozempic, just because, so many know that name. It's kind of the brand name, like Vaseline.
Gastronomical, nausea, most common.
Right, diarrhea, stomach pain, constitution. Serious, the less common risks include pancreatitis, gallbladder disease, kidney failure, hypoglycemia, low blood pressure, and potential thyroid tumors. Common gastrointestinal side effects, nausea and vomiting, diarrhea and constipation, stomach pain and bloating. Serious side effects, thyroid C-cell tumors, pancreatitis, gallbladder issues, kidney damage. Dehydration can lead to kidney failure, particularly in patients with pre-existing issues. Vision, some patients have gone blind. Severe allergic reactions. Other side effects, Ozempic face, facial sagging, loss of volume, increased wrinkles due to rapid weight loss. And then they put the one you and I talk about all the time, muscle loss. Rapid weight loss may cause loss of muscle mass in addition to fat. Hair loss, wow, hair loss. The guys know that? You're going to get thin and you're going to lose your hair. That's not a good trade-off. So it's a lot of problems, but we're not, believe it or not, despite what we're saying, we're not trying to stop people from using it. I think you're much better off going on Energized Health. But if you're going to use it and you want quick weight loss, then use them both, because what will happen, John, if you use them both? It will mitigate the side effects, correct?
Well, it's true. And Wayne, I'm not just saying that. This is my most dramatic Ozempic client. He's on Ozempic for 13 years, guys, 13 years. So for those of you that think it's new, it's not new. I know it's been around at least 13 years. This guy was on it for 13 years, and he still was 40 pounds overweight. After 13 years of Ozempic, he still was 40 pounds overweight. So he went on Energized Health. He lost 40 pounds of fat.
Fat, right.
While he gained his muscle and gained his hydration and got his energy through the roof while he was on it. So that's really, Wayne, the only reason that I do know, because I have personally seen people that were on it that still gained hydration, that gained muscle on our protocol. Now, not that we're on it without us. So guys, don't kid yourself. You can't find one case. You cannot find one case anywhere where somebody was on Ozempic or Mounjaro or any one of those that gained hydration and gained muscle. No, they lose hydration, they lose muscle. But I can show you cases of people on Energized Health, and we're on it, that gained hydration, that gained muscle, and didn't even get the side effects, by the way. Now, I will tell you, everyone that's ever done it with us, they did end up going off of it. They decided, wait a minute, why am I on this? Why am I wasting $200 a month? I don't need it. You know, I could just do my Energized Health protocol.
All right, so you are telling us that prices could significantly rise for Ozempic, Mounjaro, and all the other GLP-1s because of all the lawsuits, all the people who have gotten sick taking it, maybe some of whom have died taking it and their families are suing. But the point is there's going to be lots and lots of lawsuits coming down the pike, and that's going to hike the price because they're going to have to spend a lot of money in legal fees to defend, correct?
Well, yeah, and Wayne, no, there's already been thousands of people that have had emergency room visits because their stomach was paralyzed. And when your stomach is paralyzed, guys, that means everything's just trapped in there. So guess what? You have to go to the emergency room and they have to pump your stomach just like someone who had a drug overdose.
Ooh, that's
like if
not
somebody
pleasant.
took a whole bottle of pills, they pump their stomach. Well, when you're on Ozempic, it can paralyze your stomach so that nothing's moving anywhere. Then you have to go into the ER. They pump your stomach like you're a drug addict that was trying
That's
to commit
terrible.
suicide. There also has been deaths already. So there's definitely going to be a lot of class action lawsuits down the road. But there's also a big case going on right now where the drug companies are, you know, they're suing all of these Chinese manufacturers and all these mom and pop, you know, compounding pharmaceuticals. I mean, Wayne, the truth is they don't know where this stuff's coming from right now. Like you could, you know, I told you, I know a 19-year-old kid that's selling it online. He's 19 years old, Wayne. What does he know?
John, I wish I was a lawyer right now. I put ads on TV. You know, I'm good on TV. I've gotten millions of calls in my life, sold hundreds of products, about $1 billion I've sold on TV for all my clients. And I'd be like, I'm Wayne Allyn Esquire. If you have lost your entire joy for life on Ozempic, and if you're dying from the COVID vaccine, either one or both, call me. Class action lawsuit. I'd make millions. All right, my fans, how do they get started? They go to EnergizedHealth.com. They watch the free masterclass. They get 40% off by saying WAR Wayne Allyn. 40% off. WAR. EnergizedHealth.com. Thanks, John.